walk past it slow, like it's some old friend of mine.
Dude, back up.
Old train. Sink full of dishes, ring with yesterday's stain. I talk to the mirror, ask why I still remain.
So what's up?
It just fogs up and hands me back my pain.
What's up? Yo. It's a pretty crazy time out there. Has anybody been paying attention to anything lately? It's hard enough to pay attention to the present, you know? Gas prices. Like, holy shit, have you seen those gas prices? But, the weather. Shit, this weekend's gonna be crazy. Have you seen the weather that's supposed to be this weekend? Oh my goodness. Record breaking. I don't know why my live is behind. Alright, I just want to say something. With all the shit that's going on in the world, it's even crazier that's getting revealed from the past. Yeah. I mean, it's hard enough to pay attention to what's going on in front of us, let alone what's being discovered behind. And is what I want to touch on today. That's what I want to talk about today, is some of the stuff that's kind of being like, I don't know if discovered is the word for it. Kind of like finally opened upon. Eyes opened, maybe might be the word. It's some pretty cool shit. Now, you know, basically what I'm about to try to talk about, I'm gonna touch on. I got some notes, but I'm not gonna really touch it. You know, I'm not gonna get the whole picture. You're gonna have to go on the points of what I say, what I touch on, and go do your own research. You know, learn, experience. Tell me what you find out about it. But I mean, I think it's pretty crazy. All right, so let's kind of get into it a little bit. 1 second. Let's kind of get into it a little bit. So, I know that I mean, I guess the kind of like first stepping stone is like, have you ever heard of Tartaria? No, you have never heard of Tartaria. So Tartaria is known on many ancient maps before like the 1800s. Tartaria is a landmass. Like, I'm gonna go from the big picture. I'm gonna zone in to how it affects us here in America. Because Tartaria was it was a globally wide, like, it was all over, and then it was erased. No more now, and they don't want us to know about it. 1800, before the 1800s, you can look at pretty much any map, French, Scottish, English. There's a landmass between, well, basically Europe and China and Russia. I guess Norway. In that little in between those countries, there's a landmass there that's like now part of Russia, a little bit's part of China, a little bit's part of Europe. That was used to be called Tartaria, and they were the creators of the very globally known architecture that you see today that really isn't built today but is there. Like, for instance, the White House. Buildings in Russia. There's buildings in Europe. There's buildings in Africa with the same columns, the same statues above the columns, the same archal doors, very large, very massive halls, and with acoustics. He's kicking my ass, but I don't care. With acoustics that are crazy. Like, if you stand in one part of the hall and you whisper in the other end of the hall. This was actually talked about in NCIS in an episode, the whisper thing. That's actually a thing, and that's part of the White House. And in Madison, they have a whisper corner in that building, and in the not White House. I'm guessing in pretty much any domal-ish building with the dome on the top of it with the columns, they're gonna have that whisper spot where you can whisper in one end and hear it across the building, because that acoustics. It's built around acoustics. You know, that's how it was built. But why is nothing else built like that? Well, let's go back to that. But anyway, so like you see the resemblance across the world. The White House in Russia, in Britain, in Iran, even across. I mean, all over the world. These columns, these statues, all over. But why is it in the U.S.? All right, but Tartaria. Let's go to the summer. Let's go to the year with no summer, 1816. Mount Tamburo. One second, buddy. What? All right. So, okay. All right. Like I said, shit. We're getting our ass kicked. Let's see what we can do here. Try to circle back up. But like, why? And that's undeniable. Why does the White House, why does even the Rylander Courthouse, why does Madison Square, like in our state, why does Madison, and then the Roman Colosseum and other great palaces all look alike with those great columns and all that shit. But our technology can't explain how the fuck it got there. Like, how in the hell did they pick up a 5-ton column and I'm not even just like pick it up, right? They meticulously carved it perfectly smooth with no markings, with no etchings at all, right? Perfect columns. No seams. How? How? And then this is where it gets crazier, right? Like, how do they? How in that time when we're pulling wagons, wooden wagons, right? Wooden wagons with horses. How in the hell are we lifting several thousand of pound, like, marble, granite into place perfectly without telegraphs, right? Because apparently in this time, right, when these buildings were created, there was no telegraphs, there was no phones, there was no, right? No internet. How in the fuck are they getting, like, perfect architectural, like it's undeniable, like there are, it's related, right? Perfect across the seas, you know, like, why? How? I know I got off subject, but it's just like, in a time, and then you go look back in the time frame that these buildings were built, right? It's like, minuscule if you think about it, right? Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, okay, what year was the Great Chicago Fire? But that's getting ahead of myself here. But the World's Fair, the Great Columbian Exposition in 1993, that was shortly after the Great Chicago Fire. And that was in the same year of the Peshtigo Fire in 1871. So you're saying in 22 years, they completely rebuilt everything from the ground up with great stonework. And this is the fucked up part, right? So the World's Fair that was held in Chicago, 1993, it was said that the construction for the World's Fair, that was like it was known to be a palace of white, right? Great corridors, massive columns, great statues, just amazing.